Welcome to another episode of Political Perspective. I'm your host, Ethan Micheal, and alongside me is
Christmellow. You can call me Mellow though. I'm a musician, activist, do a lot of things. And yeah, I'm excited to give political perspectives, which is quite a tongue twister, on stuff. Biden, Trump, will the working class ever seize the means of production? Anything like that.
The most important thing is hopefully we get some callers, because I've seen you go back and forth with some people, and I'm excited to see what you have to offer. And just so we're clear, you were one of the you were the person that helped me get this call-in show working.
I am, yes. I did figure out how to make the call-ins come in and allow us to talk with the lovely people out there. Speaking of which, if you are watching this right now, please call in. We'd love to talk to you about whatever you're feeling politically, and just kind of see where things go. So give us a call.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity, can you say who you're voting for, or are you not comfortable saying that?
Oh, no, I'm comfortable saying that I will be I'm going to vote for Biden, I guess, because why would I what other option is there at this point? And that our political process is just so fucked that it's you either have to choose. You have to choose one or the other. They're both terrible options, in my opinion. Right. But one is clearly a fascist dictator. The other one is.
We want people to call in, Mellow.
No, is that not? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me why he's not. Tell me. I would love to hear explanation to make me feel.
No, but we want
politics.
Here's the most important thing, and this at least goes for me specifically. I could be wrong where I stand politically, and I am entirely open to that possibility. And for those that know me, know I try and approach everything within as an open mind as possible. So, if you think I should vote for Donald Trump, tell me why. I'm curious. I personally will be on the side of, okay, I'm not even going to say sides because I don't really believe in sides. I feel like right now I don't know, man. This election, not my favorite one, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's any good outcomes in the past. I don't know. The root of it for me is just that the system itself doesn't reflect what people actually feel and think.
Right.
I feel realistically right now we have at least 5 to 6 different political parties in this country masquerading as two. And mostly it just swings between them. The right wing right now is very extreme, very controlled by an extremist conservative movement, I think. Whereas the left just kind of more can't become more centrist in a sense. They're very, for the most part, I think, very establishment. And very much keeping things the way they are, where there's a full spectrum of leftist politics that as soon as you start bringing them up, you get perceived a little bit oh, you just want to tear things down, or what? Have you ever heard of Russia? Don't you know you ever think about that? You think about the Soviet Union, bro? That's the kind of shit that you get when you bring up, can I say the S word, the SHIT?
Well, you already dropped the F-bomb, and that's my own fault for not saying, hey, let's stay away from F-bombs, because we would like to be welcomed into your home. So okay. We want to be as respectful and open as possible. And that is entirely on me. See, this is what happens when you, I asked a bunch of witches on my Facebook, and I don't typically believe in this stuff, to curse me on Saturday because I didn't believe it could happen. And I have not really slept since then, man. I got 2 hours of sleep Saturday night, maybe 1 or 2 Sunday, and the rest has been spotty, maybe 2 or maybe 3. I'm okay, well, they did something to stop me from sleeping, So I don't know where I was going with this. Oh, yeah, I didn't necessarily prepare you properly as I should have. So yeah, let's keep it PG-13.
Okay. PG-13.
A little newer.
One F-bomb. I feel like you can get away with that in PG-13.
You can get away with one F-bomb per PG-13 movie, from my understanding. So
I will do my best.
there's no more. Now, I think right now the left is fractured in many ways or the Democratic Party specifically, because from what I can see, they're trying to bring in, they're changing, they're evolving, and they are jumping on all these ideas, which are great. But how are they going to compete with the Republican Party, who is not necessarily as fractured and has the very, God, guns, pro-life, and support the troops, like that's their four go-tos, it seems like. Whereas the left, can you really name, can you name it? I can't talk. Can you name four specific things like that with the left where like that's what they count on? And I don't think you can, because they are just continuing to move on, which is great in many ways, but also I think that's what's stopping them from being able to compete against the right at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple of different points here. Like, I guess I feel that on the right, it's not as unified as it is perceived. I think there's a lot of they have enough control in the congressional houses, in the media, and kind of in different seats in governorship across the country, where I guess there's a solid base there that agrees to vote Republican over Democrat. And I'm not saying Democrats don't have that. They might have a little bit more solidified of a base, but I definitely think there are a lot of people who do not gather around or fetishize the right wing, like God's guns and gravy or whatever it is.
God's guns and gravy.
Yeah. Basically, I think there is a rational right, and people who are more in it for what it used to be, in a sense. Not even what it used to be. I don't even know what I'm really saying by that, but for not the kind of more cult following kind of right that I think is really what's supporting Trump in a lot of ways, and a lot of the more cruel policies that come out. And I think on the left, there is a lot of fracturing, just because, like I was saying earlier, I think there's too narrow a political spectrum. It's how can you not have fractures when you have two parties that don't support, there should be multiple parties on the right, multiple parties on the left, because we have multiple ideas on how the government should work. Right now, when you just have these blanket statements, you have a Democrat AOC, who's much more leftist and much more of socialist or communist ideologies.
Ooh, I wouldn't go with communist. Let's be careful there. Do you really think she has communist ideology?
I mean, in the sense of that, everybody, that there should be more probably lateral distribution of wealth. That, I mean, I don't know her policy specifically. I just mean more in the sense of wanting more people to be in control of the things that they produce, and that capitalism is directly exploiting that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I keep this is terrible. I have never lost my train of thought so much in my life. But what I was going
they got you.
Yeah, I know, man. I need to get these witches and have them remove this curse so I can go back to sleeping normal. As you can see, even my eyes are shot right now. So I feel like one of the bigger problems right now is in communication within this country, because what's happening is we've got right-wing news who is taking the worst examples of the left and putting them in the light. And then we've got the left-wing news who's putting the worst examples of the right and putting that in the news and saying this is a accurate representation of the people you're against. Here, fight against them. When realistically, you get people in the same room and they're going to agree more often than not. And I think we need to do something about the media. Like, we should be able to voice our opinions, but this terrible representation currently that they're doing is just further dividing us. And I wish we could do something about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can a little bit in like choosing what media sources we digest and like what we choose